Hello everyone, my name is Connor and welcome to the very first episode or video of Connor's Compendium of the Self. I've been doing this sort of thing on Instagram for quite a while now, on and off, but I thought I wanted to take the time to actually make the moves to make it a little bit more of a serious thing. Basically all this is I'm just trying to help as many people as I can. I've had these weird kind of thoughts and philosophical ramblings going on in my head, so I decided to start writing them down, and I've been reading them to some people and they've found some sort of help in it. So I thought, why not maybe try and actually make videos of it and actually expand the people that it could potentially reach. So that's kind of what this is, really. This is just me saying my thoughts, nothing more, nothing less. That's just all they are. They're just my thoughts. They're not saying they're right or wrong in any way in particular. It's just what I've thought of, really. And my main kind of aim in this is to try and help as many people as I can. So without further ado, this is the very first attempt of me trying to do that, I suppose. I do truly hope that you find some sort of help from it, because even if you come away from it thinking it was alright, then I'll be happy, because it's helped in some way. If you do find it helpful though, however, please do let me know down in the comment section below. Maybe please consider subscribing as well. I don't know if this is your sort of thing or not, but if it is, then go ahead and click the subscribe button and so join me on this journey that I'm still very new in myself, but I'm just trying to figure things out the way that everyone else is, and essentially just trying to make this little corner of my world a little less dark and a little less bad, I suppose. So yeah, I really do hope that you enjoy the video, and let's get into it. Actually, a bit of backstory about the book before I delve fully into it, as this is the first video. I feel like it needs to have a bit of a backstory to it, or at least like some sort of an idea as to why I'm doing this. I'm basically just doing this because a while ago I just felt like I was having these like thoughts, quite big philosophical thoughts. I'm not a philosopher, by the way, in any way. I enjoy philosophy and I like philosophy and I like reading about it and watching videos on it and listening about stuff about it. I do like philosophy, but I'm not a philosopher at all. I'm an actor and a filmmaker by trade, and I think that kind of helped with this whole self-discovery mission, whatever, that I'm on. And so basically I started having these thoughts and I was like, I'm going to start writing these down just to see if they help clear my head, and they did, very much so. It's kind of like a form of journaling, I suppose, getting what's in here onto the page and actually just getting it out of my head so that the fog kind of clears up in my mind. And it really helped, and I started reading it to some people, I guess just to sort of be like, oh yeah, this is just what I did. I think someone saw me writing and they asked what it was, and I read them an extract of the book. They liked it, and this is kind of me pushing myself further out of my comfort zone by actually making videos to a hopefully wider audience about this kind of thing. So that's sort of why I'm doing it. There's a lot of bad in the world at the moment, and I am kind of trying to understand everything, myself included, just like I think everyone else is, really. That's kind of why I'm doing this, and that's why I've decided to start up Connor's Compendium of the Self. The full title of this endeavour is actually called Connor's Compendium of the Self, or The Man Who Fell into the Sky. I don't know why, it just sounded cool. So with all that in mind, I will read you whatever number extract this is. I'm going to shut up now and actually read what you're here for. Read what you're here for. Read what you're here to hear about. Let's go with that instead. That sounds better. I hope you enjoy. Who could you be? Or more importantly, who could we be? By we, I mean that collectively as a species. There's this idea, a notion, that I've covered in previous inserts in the book, that there's two and probably more versions of you. There's the you now, and the you that you could be or will become. If we consider for a moment what an ideal version of yourself would consist of, it would most likely be someone who has fulfilled every aspect of themselves and fully understands and has integrated every part of themselves, both good and bad. Put more simply, you understand yourself fully and have basically accepted every part of both you and your psyche. Put more abstractly, however, it's someone who has realised that they, to which I mean all aspects of the self, both conscious and unconscious, are far more complex than they even realise, but have actively decided to put in the years and indeed lifelong pursuit of work that it takes to truly begin to understand the living, breathing complexities of the core of self. Now obviously there's a lot to deal with that when it comes to understanding who you truly are, and a lot of that is kind of what this book is trying to kind of figure out, is how you can kind of become who you truly are. That's all it kind of takes, is just that one moment for you to actually be like, yeah, this is something that I want to do, this is a path that I want to take, because really what's the alternative? You're gonna stay in a life where you don't fully understand yourself, and as creatures who are constantly trying to understand the world around them more, it's like it's in our nature, we're curious creatures by nature. So if you're not allowing yourself the possibility to understand yourself in a better way, what does the alternative leave you? It just leaves you confused, scared, uncertain of everything. Yeah, it's a difficult road to go down, as a lot of these extracts go through, but what is the alternative? Each of us possess two living versions of ourselves in the present, and this isn't to be confused with the two selves that I previously referred to, as one of them lives in the present, the you, or I, which indeed consists of the two selves that I'm about to explain, and the you who you could become, a future self who's yet to be realised. One self, and this isn't really new news, is that of masculine energy, of order, exploration, structure. It's yang. And the other is the feminine energy of chaos, nurture, which is yin. Do not mistake the ideas of feminine and masculine as man and woman. Man and woman are the biological substrates and substructure of physical modes of being. It's coded within your DNA. It's what you are, not who you are. Masculine and feminine, however, are far more to do with your metaphysical polarity. It's how you view the world and, to an extent, how it governs you. There's a lot of different things, and I think there's a lot of different ways that people can sometimes misinterpret what this actually means. Especially now, given today's day and age, when there's a lot of confusion about gender and identity and things like that. It's a very grey area. It's a very fine line. It's a very grey area. But what you have to understand is that everyone has masculinity and femininity in them. As someone who, myself, I'm learning to sort of envelop my masculinity and my femininity. I'd say overall I'm quite a feminine guy in terms of the way that my being is formulated, if that makes sense. I wouldn't say I'm like the pinnacle of masculinity, but then again, what is that? Like, are you preconceiving what it is that is? Have you placed a thought onto what masculinity is and what femininity is? Because you think feminine, as wrong as it is, you think feminine, you think female, you think masculine, you think male. And that's a wrong way of looking at it, I think, because it's more to do with the energy in which that thing provides for you. And everyone has both of them in us, so it's wrong to just be like, yeah, I'm 100% masculine, or yeah, I'm 100% feminine. No, you're not. I mean, we can argue about this sort of stuff until we're blue in the face, you know, about how much of what you've got in where, and that's fine. But the main point of this is you have both in you, right? So why would you try and avoid that? Why would you not allow yourself to understand that you are more than just what you've sort of conceptualized in your mind about what you think you are? You're far, far more than that. No one will ever be 100% masculine and 100% feminine. You have to have both. It's always, always, always about balance. And I've found this continuously across everything that I've been doing so far, and all this book, the talks I've had with people, the things that I've looked up, the things that I've watched, things that I've read, whatever, always, always, always comes back to balance and the harmony between the two. You can't just have one or the other, and this goes for everything, which we'll cover in other extracts later on. You can't just have one thing or the other. There has to always be a precise balance between the two. It's the tipping of the scales. You can't have something that's too heavy and something that's too light. There has to be equilibrium across the board with a lot of things, not with everything, but with a lot of things. So to deny yourself a part of you that you do have within you, you're never really truly going to be able to understand who you are as an individual if you do that. So why would you do that? You know, this is all about what's best for you as an individual, so that you can then broaden the horizons and the perspectives of people around you. That's how I kind of see it, is if you can understand yourself and work as an individual, and you're strong as an individual, you can work better as a team and progress further. Because if every member of the team is a strong individual who knows who they are and knows what they want and where they want to go, that team that you have made is going to be unbreakable, because all of you know who you are and what you want, but you all also know collectively that this is where we need to be going. This is what we need to be doing. And that's the point, I think, that this extract was trying to make. But let's look even deeper then. Why is it always two opposites? And I did say this was going to come up. Yin and yang, man and woman, masculine and feminine, left brain and right brain, science and spirituality, labour and Tory, academic, creative, blah, 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 blah. The list goes on. There's always two opposites to something. So bringing this whole point to a much wider perspective, why do we as human beings have always two opposite forces, two opposing forces against each other? Because we need them both to excel and to grow. We need both sides of the coin, because when brought together we can understand more. It's inevitable that you're going to fall into one side or the other, and while it is tempting to favour our side, whichever that might be, as your side is what you know, and who really wants to deal with the unknown? With the other side's views that don't match yours, it's far easier to just feign ignorance and stay within the confines of what you know. But if we do this, we're denying ourselves the opportunity to know more, to go further than before, and indeed to understand ourselves better. Because remember, to deny yourself what you don't know is to deny you from becoming who you truly, wholly are. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to read all that, but I did. But the point I think that I'm trying to make with that extract is that you can't just, and I think this is something that's so key at this moment in time, given the political turmoil and the economic turmoil and the global turmoil in general, and the turmoil within each individual. There's always got to be like a this and that, us versus them. It's this and this. It's very tribal. It's very oldie worldy. There's a word. Whereas what I'm trying to say in here is that, you know, if you don't understand that it's not just all about the one side or the other side, it's not all about you. And I'm sorry, that's for some people that's a hard pill to swallow. It's not all about you. There are other people's opinions and other people's viewpoints that, although may differ from yours, sure, yeah, there's a collective idea that we always have to be right. And in a world where you can always be right and always wrong, where do you find the middle ground? With other people, with other viewpoints, with other ways of thinking. And if you can actively choose to confront that and realize that your views, while perfectly valid, I'm not suggesting that your views aren't valid at all, but while your views are valid, theirs might be too. And if you can learn something from the other side, why wouldn't you bring it in? Because that's just going to make your point stronger. If you take the best parts of everything, you'll be better as an individual. And then collectively, you can be stronger. It's like with acting, there's a lot of people that tend to focus too much on one particular practitioner, one particular teaching of acting. I'm sure this can apply to loads of different things as well, but being an actor, I'm just going to use this as an example. There's so many different practitioners out there, so many different ways of doing it. But the one thing that I always got taught when I was at school was there is no one way of doing it. And this isn't really a new thing. This isn't really something that's, oh my god, like, I'm not expecting people to be like, oh my god, Connor, you just changed the entire... No, it's not a new way of thinking. It's a very old, archaic way of thinking, not in a bad way. That it's not just that one way of doing it is the only way you can do it. No, of course it isn't. There's multiple ways that you can do something, and so many people get caught up in this idea that that's the only way that you can do it. That's the only way that it can be done. That's the only way that we can do this. That's the only way that we can talk to that person. That's the only way that we can progress. No, it isn't. The only way that we as a species, as a society, and you as an individual, the person watching this video right now, the only way that you and us collectively can grow forward is if we look at everything, every aspect of it, of our side and theirs, and integrate the both. As I was saying in acting school, they always said there's never one practitioner that you should follow. You take the best bits from each one, you put them in your toolbox, and you make your own. If we do that collectively, that's going to fundamentally change the entire way that this world is run. Sorry, my phone ran out of battery like midway through when I was on a roll there, so I forgot what I was saying, but I basically, the main sort of points I wanted to sort of summarize was that you have different modes of being within you. You watching this video right now, you have different modes of being within you, different ways of looking at the world. It doesn't have to just be the one way. So if you as an individual can take charge, take action, and understand that there's more than just this in this box here to you. There's so much more to you than you even realize. And when you learn to integrate both aspects, the masculine and the feminine, left brain and right brain, creativity and academia, when you integrate both of them, you become a more well-rounded person because you understand more and you can take the best parts that work for you in a different way. So essentially, it's all about integration. It's all about balance. It's all about maintaining both, the best of both for you as an individual, so you can then bring it into the collective, and then as a collective, we can move forward together as a group. So thank you so much for watching the very first video of this. It really, really does mean a lot to me. Any of you that watch this, thank you, really. It's a big thing for me to take this step. So I really do hope that you've enjoyed the video. I really do hope that it's helped in some way. I am going to be posting more of these sorts of things. I want to try and get through a little bit more of the book, and maybe even have some other people on. I don't know. I'm not really sure how I'm going to work it yet, but I'm just sort of figuring things out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something from it. Remember as well, I do have an Instagram account as well, which is Connor's Compendium of the Self, or just Compendium of the Self. Not really sure how Instagram works fully. Anyway, I'm on Instagram. I'll put my name in like this bit here. If you want to go follow on there as well, show some love, drop me a message or whatever, please feel free to do so. And if you liked this video, you know the drill by now with YouTube. You know what needs to be done. The liking, the commenting, the subscribing. You get it. You know what needs to be done. I'm not gonna feign ignorance, pretend that you don't know what to do. But if you did find it interesting or beneficial in any way, maybe do subscribe. Maybe you can come with me on this journey, join me. What did you think of what was said? Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree with what I said? Do you have any viewpoints on anything that was said in the video? If you do, please do let me know. I'd love to open up a discussion more with like-minded people and just figure stuff out as we go, you know? But yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you so much for being here on my first ever one. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, have a lovely day, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.